What's up, Spilled Milkers? Andrew Zimmern here. It's Sunday in Minnesota. It's Mother's Day. It's 88 degrees. I just left New York where it was 55 degrees. I think the earth is wobbling and falling off its axis, headed to the sun, and our government just isn't telling us. Just kidding, but not kidding. Not in a hotel room, wearing a different t-shirt. How about that for me? So many great questions this week. Let's get right to them. Apparently, there's another Sriracha shortage. Drought conditions in Mexico, along with a lack of vine-ripened red peppers that are needed to make the famous Haiphong brand Sriracha. Remember, Haiphong is just the best-selling brand here in the States. More about that in a second. There's so many different substitutes, and I've gotten 3 questions today about it. And so I thought what we might do is just take a look at some of the other things that are out there. First of all, how about going to buy some fresh Thai red peppers, super spicy, at the market? Just buzz them in a little food prep or mince them by hand, a little bit of garlic, and sort of make your own. I mean, you could do that. Haiphong also makes a garlicky sambal called sambal olek that I absolutely love. It's awesome, right? There's so many different hot sauces and hot pepper condiments out there. One that I'm a big fan of is, and Divina, D-I-V-I-N-A, makes a really great brand that is, or version of Calabrian chili pepper paste that I use more often than almost any other one. It's just got a great chili pepper flavor. And if you just take a microplane and just put a little garlic in there, it's like the Sriracha vibe of your dreams. I'm not a big fan of other Srirachas, although before Haiphong was popular in the United States, Shark brand was what I knew. That's the one that is used overseas the most, and it's very inexpensive. There are all kinds of pepper condiments too. Harissa sauce is a great one. It's a North African condiment that also has a little bit of garlic and other seasonings in there that I recommend tremendously. It's awesome. Okay. What else do we have here? Oh, a couple people from the other week, and I didn't get a chance to reply, chimed in about California's new law that has banned service fees at restaurants. And there are a whole bunch of California restaurateurs who are up in arms about it. Now, one of the things that's been problematic for several years is that laws in different states for restaurants governing what they can and can't do with service charges and who can or can't get the money and how it is or isn't disclosed have made for very tricky dining for people who travel between different states. What's true in Minnesota could be different 30 miles away in Wisconsin and vice versa, or in any state you live in and somewhere else. I think the goal of all these laws, which is to eliminate those hidden fees and junk fees, is a good one. The intention is good. I think what they've failed to realize, and I hope other states realize this, including my own here in Minnesota, is that a one-size-fits-all policy doesn't really work. What's true for service charges at a local hotel may not be true for a local restaurant. And I think people, and I'm going to write something about it this coming week for Substack. I think what people don't realize is the vast majority of independent restaurants don't make money and certainly don't make enough of it to take care of their employees and pass different cost savings on to you, the consumer. Right now, all the wrong types of things are rising in price when it comes to running restaurants, like food and wages for employees. Now, we all want to take better care of our employees. Sorry, not wages and we're trying to raise wages, and what's very difficult is food costs are rising so much. I just came back from the supermarket. I was absolutely shocked at what the cost of $2.50, $3 for a yogurt. And if I eat two of them in the morning, drives me nuts. But here's the deal. Restaurants are having a really hard time staying afloat. And I think that if we could have some, mandated truth in labeling help from the state, it would help us as consumers. But we need to have all the states sort of adopt the same policy. So as diners, we can understand what those service charges are for, when and who it goes to in the restaurant. A lot of restaurants have used service charges as a way to do shared tipping amongst everyone in the restaurant, front and back of the house, with ownership putting different percentages in different people's pockets, since most servers are paid less or bartenders are paid less than, say, a line cook in the kitchen. And it's been just extraordinarily tough these last couple of years, especially post-COVID, as restaurants have tried anything they can to keep up with the rising cost of keeping people employed and keeping food on the plate. John writes, I am headed to Nashville with the family. Do you have favorite restaurants there? Oh, do I ever. I love eating in Nashville. Let's see. I did something smart. I pulled my list up before we started. Okay. Lou in Nashville. It's in Riverside Village, famous for their Sunday night roast chicken dinner. Absolutely love this homey little restaurant. By the way, I am going to break one of my rules here because, like many other cities, there's certain Asian communities in different cities around the country, and there's some really special ones here in Nashville that I take great pleasure in eating their food when I'm there. Let's see, East Side Banh Mi, fantastic banh mi's. I really enjoy them tremendously. Big Al's Deli, a famous sandwich joint, great for breakfast. It's not a deli in the sense like a European or Jewish deli, because man, oh man, the Southern classics there, shrimp and grits, smothered chicken, fried catfish, just unbelievable. Let's see, Folk, tremendous pizza, which I love. The owners also have another restaurant called Rolf and Daughters, which is over in the Germantown neighborhood, which has been one of my favorites for a long time. So has Lyra, which has been, open for like 5-6 years now. Just superb sort of modern food shot through a Southern prism, but focusing on Middle Eastern flavors. It's just fantastic. Audrey and June, Sean Brock's latest, and the Continental and his listening lounge. I mean, any of Sean Brock's restaurants are a must go to. I got a big list here. Some of these places I know have closed. City House, Tandy Wilson's restaurant, made a lot of TV there. Love that human being. Good friend, and I just love eating there. Let's see, what else do we have? Manel's. Oh my God. In this older than 100-year-old Victorian house is a place that I like to go for breakfast as much as anyone. A lot of people go for the late night breakfast, which is kind of an after hours secret. But when I say, fried chicken with, sorghum with you ask for it, and just incredible big family style portions, lots of great sides. I just love Monell's. Fantastic. Bolton's for Nashville chicken. And they also do fried fish there, which is fantastic. And how I discovered Bolton's in the first place and then ordered their Nashville chicken, which is fantastic. Prince's is superb for that. Hattie B's is superb for that. So you can't go wrong. Lots of great hot chicken in that town. Let's see. Pinewood Social, superbly fun. And great food. Yolan, which is Tony Manchuano's Italian restaurant down there. Former chef owner of Spiaggia in, one of the best restaurants in America for 30 years. Left Chicago, moved to Nashville. And he and his wife have a fantastic place there in Yolan. Let's see. Bastion, Josh Haberger's restaurant, superb. Thought he should have won the Beard Award last year. He did not, sadly, but boy, it's great. Iggy's, the Poli Brothers place over in Wedgwood, superb Italian-ish food, which is great. Nashville has a lot of great pizza, by the way. Let's see, what else? For sure. I would, no. Last time I was there, that was so-so. Don't even want to tell you about it. Edessa, Edessa. It's Kurdish. Nashville has one of the largest, if not the largest, Kurdish community in the United States. And Edessa is a halal restaurant that the food is so fantastic. Order any. I have not had a bad bite in that restaurant. Just superb. Don't just order the kebabs. Try all the other food as well. Let's see. There were one or two others. I have this divided into two from my last two visits there, so bear with me. Talked about Sean Brock's places, June and Audrey. Margot McCormick's classic place. Drucy and Dar, which is in the Hermitage Hotel, Jean-Georges Vongerichten's new place. Henrietta Red, oh my God. Owned by the same restaurant group that owns Catbird Seat, which you must go to, as well as Bastion. Julia Sullivan's restaurant is just epic and great, firmly rooted in the South kind of food. You can have a delicious, piece of fish with, local vegetables in season and a great Italianate pasta in the same meal. It's fantastic. I told you about the Continental, Joyland, Sean Brock's other place, burgers and fried chicken skewers. It's fantastic. Locust, Trevor Moran's place. Trevor Moran cooked at a lot of Michelin-starred restaurants in Europe, came over here, was one of the chefs at the Catbird Seat, as was Eric Anderson, as was Josh Haberger, a lot of other people. And he is a cool little restaurant called Locust that I think is only open on weekends, and focusing mostly on things like that he loves to eat, like dumplings and kakagori, and it's just fantastic. Told you about the Catbird Seat. Tiny Yum, Niyom, which is just absolutely fantastic and just excellent Thai food. Um, uh, that should be enough for you. Okay. Let's see. Joe writes, this past weekend I picked up some fresh truffle butter at my local supermarket. It completely leveled up scrambled eggs and pasta dishes. Yes, it does. Please don't buy truffle oil, which is basically chemical fake truffle flavors infused into oil. And please buy truffle butter. And I use a tub of truffle butter in my freezer as well. I use it all the time. My question is, would you be willing to do a Substack featuring some of your favorite compound butter recipes? Yes, I will. I also have a few. We'll put some links to those recipes on the website. And yes, there are compound butters that I regularly keep on hand. I have an herbed one with lots of shallots and lemon zest, a little bit of garlic in there. My favorite one is one that we make and use for all kinds of events as we're traveling around, which is soft butter that I whip until it's dark gray with crushed toasted nori seaweed and lemon juice and shallots and a little bit of Nomoto dashi powder. It's absolutely fantastic. All right. Joe writes, no, that was Joe's question. Steve writes, if you get anchovies in the jar and olive oil and you open them up and use a couple of them, can you close it back up and put it in the cabinet? No, put it in the refrigerator. Craig writes, you are frequently making varieties of meals and freezing parts or ingredients for a future time. Always. I just pulled dinner out of the freezer just now. Craig has sadly moved and doesn't have as much cold storage as he used to. I imagine I will be devastated by your answer and will have to move or add on to our house. He's asking, how much cold storage do I have? I have a very small or a thin, shallow European refrigerator freezer in the kitchen. I have my old American refrigerator freezer in the garage, and then I have a chest freezer for a lot of my wild game and meats and things I buy in bulk, or when I make 10 quarts of chicken stock, I put them in there and take what I need out. What is your favorite fish and favorite way to prepare it? Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Pomfret is amazing. I just like to grill it and put some charred lemon juice and some fresh herbs and olive oil on it. Black sea bass is fantastic. Certain types of deep water grouper I absolutely love. I love redfish when it's done the right way. I'm blank. I love all the flatfish. I love, Petrale sole and Dover sole. Let's see, what else am I crazy about? Why am I blanking on all these all of a sudden? I like little porgies, the little baby bluefish. I love eel, little snapper blues. They're a little bigger. I mean, I just love, porgies are their own fish, like little snapper blues. I love blowfish, not the poisonous kind, the stuff that runs in the mid-Atlantic from the Carolinas up into the warmer waters and Long Island Sound. We used to catch them all the time. I love just skinning them and deep frying them and pulling them out of my mouth. Yeah. And I like to do as little to fish as possible. Seared in a hot pan or grilled, served whole with, lemon, olive oil. Simple. I want to taste that fish and what it was eating. Supna also had Nashville, Tennessee dining recommendations. Well, Supna, I answered your question. Ariel writes, Kenji Lopez Alt, brilliant guy, love him. Recently demonstrated why it's a myth that you shouldn't salt your eggs before scrambling them. People said you shouldn't salt them because it makes them watery. Any cooking myths you'd care to dispel? Oh my God, I was giving a whole lecture about this weekend just on pasta alone. Um, you know, certain things are musts with pasta. You should always cook the pasta in the sauce right before serving. Some pastas, you actually cook them in things that become the sauce around it, like the viral recipe for the linguine assassino in the assassin style, where you actually cook it in the red wine. Um, but I think probably the biggest myth for everyday cooks is the issues about pasta water. I always recommend a large volume of water for pasta, but in restaurants or at home, I don't really do that. And I've recommended it to people who are first-time cooks because I think it's easier. But I think now, over the last 20 years since I've been talking about this, I think the times have changed. I think most people are better cooks. So I now encourage people to cook in a smaller volume of salted water so that the water gets starchier and you use the starchy water for your sauce. So there's a lot of food myths around that. I'll have to think of some more. That question requires some deeper thinking. Food myths. I find that a lot of tips for home cooks are designed for them to be successful with a dish, but imply that it's dangerous to do certain things, like what temperature you have to cook chicken to. Anything above 140 degrees kills bacteria. It doesn't kill spore-forming bacteria, but it does kill bacteria that makes, for chicken that's going to kill you. But all these recommendations about cooking white meat chicken to 165 is wrong. Dark meat chicken should go to about 170 because they have all those tendons and little pieces of connective tissue that have to melt to make the chicken tender. But white meat should not be cooked that much at all. And last but not least, Bruce writes, asparagus is my favorite vegetable, but having lived in Northern Europe and being married to a German Frau, wow, I'm sure she loves being called that. Asparagus season for us means white asparagus. It sure does. Although, having spent a lot of time in Germany, especially in farm country, green asparagus and green wild asparagus is just collected the whole country stops for a couple weeks when asparagus and golden chanterelles are coming out of the fields, like right now. Anyway, white variety is hard to find in the U.S. Yes, and very expensive. It has to be big and thick. We peel it and use the peelings to make asparagus soup and add the cooked peeled cut asparagus into the soup, or we make it with hollandaise sauce. Me too. The soup with crusty bread or white asparagus with hollandaise is all we need for a meal. Completely agree. For those that don't know, green asparagus is green because it's exposed to the sun and it creates chlorophyll in the skin. There's a type of asparagus that will grow thicker, and it's cultivated by European farmers, and they push sawdust mixed with some soil up around the shoot as it comes out of the ground, and they prevent sunlight from getting on it, but it grows very quickly, searching for sunlight, which it senses is out there somewhere, and then they cut it, and it's white asparagus, and it is super sweet and super delicious, and I would encourage everyone to try it. Especially if you see it on sale. I'm sure there were Mother's Day sales on white asparagus like crazy, so I'm probably a day late. But if you're seeing this on Monday, go to the supermarket because it'll be marked down even more, whatever they didn't sell. See you next week.